Awesome.
All right, we're going to get started here as our winning team begins to make their way into the media center. We are joined by the winning crew chief of the number 18 M&M's Red-Nosed Toyota, Adam Stevens. Adam, this is the third win of the season for this team. Why don't you talk about that win today?
Yeah, you know, it's always cool to get to victory lane, but to knock off another place that KB hasn't won at is just really special. You know, he's got a very storied career and done a lot of great things, and to help him accomplish the few things that he hasn't done is really cool. But it's a tough race, a lot of adjusting with the track conditions changing, and groove really widened out, which was good to see. Lots of pit strategy, and just an overall solid night for the 18 team.
Great. We will now start with questions for Adam. We'll start up here in the front with Todd, and then we'll go to Bob.
I think, I may not have the numbers right here, but did you guys go the last 56 laps without pitting? Is that right?
Yes, we pitted under green the last time.
Yeah, I mean, what was the thought process there, and you know, and I mean, because obviously a lot of other guys came in, but why were you so confident that your car would hold up those last 56 laps?
Well, it hadn't really seen much speed in tires all night, not much tire fall off, so, and we'd only gone about 25. It was about the perfect time to make that call. A little bit longer would have been harder to make the call, and you'd have had less laps to pass the cars. But it's just so hard to pass, and the cars are so even. As soon as you get the track position, you need to do all you can to maintain it.
We are also now joined by the winning driver of the number 18 M&M's Red-Nosed Toyota, Kyle Busch. Kyle, you have now won at 21 of 23 active Sprint Cup Series tracks. Why don't you talk a little bit about hitting that milestone today?
Yeah, it was a really great day. Yeah, I didn't know that we'd have that much speed in our race car. I guess I should have known. But Adam and these guys, you know, they continue to impress me each and every week. We had a top 5 car going there in the beginning part and the middle part of the race, and we just kept making improvements to it, kept making it better. And there with about 2 runs to go, we got it on the tight side, and I felt like we had decent speed. I really didn't know what to do to make it any better. And then after that final pit stop, we kind of got on the free side and we're a little bit loose, and Matt was catching us there, and then those last couple cautions just gave us opportunity to kind of cool the tires down and go back at it again with some of those other guys. And they had tires, but you know, when you're out front and you focus on hitting your marks and hitting the restart and doing what you can do, then you get an opportunity to try to drive away. But Harvick was making it tough. He was right on my bumper there for a few laps, and I kind of pulled a slide job off turn 4, cut it a little bit close. We touched a little bit, but after that, I kind of refocused on being able to hit my marks and hit the line that I was running before the caution came out, where I was really fast. And from there, I was just kind of been able to pull back away and do what I needed to do in order to try to win.
And now we have the remainder of our winning team up here on stage. We're joined by the owner, Coach Joe Gibbs. Coach, this is another great victory for Joe Gibbs Racing. I believe it's the 4th different driver you've won with here at Kansas. Can you talk a little about what that means for you and the team?
Yeah, well, I got to tell you, these two guys here just done a terrific job. I mean, all year long, I don't know if any of our teams have ever been this hot and been up front every single week, and it's just it's great to watch it. It's great for M&M's, Toyota, everybody back home. I called JD and everybody. We appreciate everybody working so hard back at the shop. It's a total team effort. I say that all the time, but we got everybody back at the shop working on the cars. We got Mars, just one of the most powerful companies in America, and it takes all of us to do this, to be a part of this, and then to have Kyle as hot as he is right now. It's very hard in pro sports. The hardest thing in pro sports is to stay up there every week, and right now it's been a thrill. We love coming to Kansas, this part of the country, our sponsors and everybody here. Really appreciate it, and it's been a thrill for us.
Thanks, Coach. We're going to resume the questions. We'll start here with Bob and work our way across the front row.
Bob Packers, ESPN. I have 2 for Kyle. When you haven't won in a cup race at a place, do you lack any confidence, or do you have any question of, like, am I doing the right thing when you have a lead with a guy on your tail like that?
Yeah, actually, that's yes, to answer your question. But it was more so when we came off pit road. For some reason, I was a little bit loose, and and I was trying to take care of my tires and make sure I wasn't slipping them and overheating them, but Kenseth was catching me, and then I was like, okay, well, I got to go. I got to find some speed, and I wasn't able to find any. So that at that moment, I was wondering, okay, what am I doing wrong? What am I doing different from the previous run, and why am I in this position? But fortunately, like I said, those couple restarts that we got, I just had a chance to regroup, resettle in, and get my car back underneath me, and that was a key for us.
And does this give you any insight into what the All-Star race might be like if, with a couple of guys, depending on how many guys are out on old tires in front of guys who have new tires?
Yeah, it's going to be interesting, that's for sure. I mean, I think, the tire is going to be different at Charlotte. The amount of time guys are going to be on their tires is going to be different. The racetrack's different, of course, too. So I'm hoping that the Charlotte Motor Speedway will lend itself to multiple grooves. If it lends itself to multiple grooves and we have a racetrack that we can race on, then I feel like it'll be a pretty good show. But if it's anything like last fall where we were kind of all mired around the bottom, that wasn't very much fun. We weren't able to do anything. You couldn't really pass anybody. So especially with these cars, when you get right behind, directly behind guys, you just have to slow down in order to get the front of the cars to cut for the center of the corner. And with the new rules for the All-Star race with reducing skew, that's not going to help them turn any better, so it's going to make it worse. We'll just have to see how all that plays out.
Sean Roney, Dos Mundos newspaper, for Kyle. Could you just talk about what it means for you to, in a sense, kind of sweep this weekend, where that William wins last night for your team, and then to get your own victory tonight? Yeah,
this is pretty cool. Certainly this is a place that's been tough on me over the years and probably almost caused me to go into retirement. But fortunately for myself, maybe Joe too, that I didn't do that, and we're here fighting for another race win, and having a great time here in Kansas this time around. So I guess it all depends, and you got to put it in perspective sometimes what's kind of going on in your race team and around you. But to win last night in the truck race, to win tonight here in the Cup race, it certainly means a lot to me. It means a lot to my wife and what we've been able to accomplish as team owners. And of course, my Sunday job, my real job, and what I've been able to do with this team, this M&M's team, with Adam Stevens and Joe Gibbs.
I want to ask Kyle and Mr. Gibbs.
Go with him first.
All right. Well, I mean, how impressive is it that he's won on all but 2 tracks? I mean, road course, no matter what it is. I mean, he has found that he seems to find a way to victory lane. Have you ever had a driver that's been able to that you can compare that to?
Yeah, I don't know that I have. And the one thing I said, I want to hurry up and get to the 2 that he hasn't won. He's hot right now. He and Adam are hot. I know it was a big deal for him. We know he can win anywhere. I do think, sometimes it's amazing to me that you hear some drivers really like some place, really don't like some other place. But I think Kyle here, we've had our tough times, but I think he's battled back to a point where I think he really can win any place. So it'll be exciting when we get to the next 2 places.
And Kyle, I mean, May 29th, Charlotte, June 5th, Pocono, kind of back-to-back there. What would it mean to you if you could check those 2 off here as well, if not this year, but in the future, and be the only active driver that's won on every track in the series?
Well, there's one person in this room that definitely wants that to happen because it'll bookmark her birthday week, and that's my wife. So she's putting the pressure on, I'm sure, that we've got to go out there and score those wins in Charlotte as well as Pocono. So I look forward to the challenge. I mean, every single week, every single year, everything's a challenge. We do this for many reasons, but of course for me it's just the challenge of being able to go out there and to continue to try to thrive and be good at what we do and to win championships, win races. It's certainly been some tough roads along the way here at Kansas, but it's certainly nice to win this one. I look forward to being able to hopefully knock off some more this year at Charlotte and Pocono to complete the list.
All right, we're going to go upstairs to the press box for 2 questions and then back down here to Daniel.
Katie Williams, SpeedwayDigest.com. Kyle, you hadn't won at this track before except for top 5 finishes. How does it feel to finally get the monkey off your back?
It feels great. This is, I wouldn't call it a dream come true, but, it's certainly been some horror dreams here before, and this is certainly a lot better one. So it's nice to just be able to accomplish the things that you set out to try to accomplish, and having some of those racetracks being ones that have been very difficult for me over the years. This one especially at Kansas, it just it's great to have that monkey off your back. And as I just told Adam on the side, I guess there's no more excuses when we come to Kansas.
All right, Joe Gibbs. Your drivers all have a win under their belt. Is there anybody that's the weakest link?
No, we actually have, Matt does not have a win. And so, he's had a strong car. He had a strong car again tonight, but, I felt like we were a little bit off with that car. Obviously, the 78 is also a teammate of ours, so we pull hard for them. That's the reason why I hated what happened tonight. But, in a sport where we have so many great teams and great owners out there, and it's so competitive, this is very, very hard to get on a hot streak. And so I really appreciate it, and I know how hard it is to reel several races off like this, so I'm going to enjoy it.
I believe we have one more in the press box.
Chris Knight, CatchFans.com. Kyle, with a fifth last fall here at Kansas Speedway and a win tonight, to piggyback on what you said to Adam, is the Kansas curse over?
Say that again?
After a fifth last fall here at Kansas Speedway and a win tonight, can you consider the Kansas curse over?
I don't know. Hopefully, that's for darn sure. I think the time before that I was here was I didn't run the spring race here last year, so you got to go back to the fall before that, and I finished third. So third, fifth, and first here in my last three starts. So I'd say that we've got something going for us, and it's real nice to have some good finishes like that, some solid runs here at Kansas, and having a better feel for what the race car is doing on the racetrack and being able to make speed.
And I know Bob talked about the sprint all-star race coming up, but what about the 600? Did you learn anything tonight that maybe you could apply to May's race at Charlotte?
Again, it's going to be a different tire, different track, so I don't think you necessarily pick out too many things here tonight at Kansas that you can apply to Charlotte. So I'll run the truck race there, and I'm not running the Xfinity race there, so I'll have some experience being able to run the truck race there and just kind of get my feet wet and the lay of the land and how the racetrack feels with the tire, and then of course go after him in the All-Star race.
We'll go to Daniel in the back of the room.
Daniel McFadden, NBC Sports. Kyle, this is your 8th win since you came back last year. With your history with this track, where does this win compare among those 8 since you came back?
I think Homestead is first, obviously. I think Brickyard's got to be second. I think Sonoma winning there with all the adverse things going for me with my legs and everything, and being able to win in just my 5th start back. So somewhere in the middle, bottom middle. This here's a win that means a lot because it's an opportunity for us to showcase that we can win at every single racetrack. We're too short of that, but this is a racetrack that's in the chase. So this is why you always tend to run. You want to run well at these places in order to just make sure that you have good notes and a solid foundation to be able to return.
Go to the back of the room, then to Jerry.
Greg Eckman, Kansas Public Radio. This is for Coach Gibbs. Coach, with the number of different drivers that your team has put in the winner's circle here at Kansas, what is it about this facility that has allowed your team to be so successful?
Yeah, I don't think you can actually say any one thing, but I know our guys love coming here. This is an important deal for us, just like Kyle said. It's going to be in the chase. It's a big deal, and it's your. I think our fan base here too is super important to us. Our sponsors that come here, and so I think that we're fortunate right now that we have very good drivers and crew chiefs, and guys are working hard back at the shop. But we also know that in pro sports, it comes and goes in a hurry, and so we're just trying to concentrate and work hard and try and keep what we got, because we know those other guys are working hard also.
Go to Jerry.
Jerry Jordan, Performance Racing Network and Kicking the Tires. Kyle, tonight you had a couple interesting comments on the radio. One, you said if Adam could make some certain changes to the car, you knew it was going to be fast. What feel were you getting with that to know at that point, I guess about 80 into the race? And also, what is the note, make a note about the caution car lights?
I can't tell you. That's why I said make a note. We talk about that stuff in private, behind closed doors. One of the things that I was feeling, I was just too loose tonight. The back of the car just seemed to, it wasn't sideways loose. I just could feel it. It was a real nice, just kind of moving around a little too much. And when you have that going on, you just overheat the rear tires. And, you know, so I just needed to be tightened up a little bit. And that was at that point in the race that I felt like if we could fix that balance, then I'd be faster. And when we did that, we had it fixed. I was pretty good 2 runs from the end. And I was driving away from everybody behind me, but I was not catching that 78 car, you know, so it seemed as though the top 2 cars in speed were in the top 2 positions. It was kind of going to go down in order.
Diane Cox with the Advantage News. Kyle, since your injury, you've come back stronger than ever and quicker than anybody imagined. You know, the birth of Brexton right in the middle of all of that. Would you say that this has changed your mindset as a driver, the challenges you faced? You know, has it changed you behind the wheel? Because it's definitely obvious, you know, the success you've had and also the attitude you've had.
I wouldn't give me all the credit. I've certainly had a lot of great people surround me. I had a lot of great help with my medical team and everybody that helped me get healthy. My wife especially, and all the care that she took of myself while she was 7 months pregnant, and everything that was going on at home. And more importantly, well, maybe not more importantly, but just as important is Adam Stevens and the relationship that he and I have and the time that we spent with one another in the Xfinity Series and being able to get to know each other. And then I think, too, that the time that he had crew chiefing without me, with David Reagan and Eric Jones and Matt Crafton, those guys that drove my race car, understanding and getting to know them and how to make the race car better for when I returned, that it was just, you know, ready to change the name above the door, you know, and get back at it. So I'd say I had a little bit different demeanor and way about going about these races. I don't think anything in these races is going to be as tough as being able to go through the things that I went through with physical therapy and being able to get back.
Go here in the middle.
Scott Trailer, RB in the Racing Boys Broadcasting Network. Congratulations, Coach, Kyle, Adam. You talked about Charlotte being locked down on the bottom. Let's talk about Kansas Speedway. It looked like you could run at the top, the bottom. There, late in the run, in that final run, you were right in the middle of the track. You pulled away from Kevin at that time. And maybe that was because the car was a little too free at that point, but just talk about where you ran at the end of the race and during the race, because the track was nice and wide.
This track is really starting to season and really starting to come in well. I'm pretty impressed. You know, certainly here the last few years, since from the repave on, it's been really frustrating and really just a groove around the bottom, very slick. The tires have basically a razor blade edge of grip. You got all the grip in the world until you don't, and you're spun out and you're gone. You know, now these tires are starting to slide around a little bit. You can use the track to your advantage. You can move all over the place, and I think that's a testament to the aero rules as well too, taking some downforce away from the cars and being able to move around this racetrack. I ran every single groove tonight. I was on the bottom, the middle, the top, in between, everywhere, you know, and there was certainly different times of the race that those different grooves were faster, and you just kind of had to pick and choose which times you wanted to be in those grooves, but the middle seemed to be the best for me all night long, and I actually learned that from my teammate Matt Kenseth, not only here, I think, last fall, but following him earlier in the race as well, too. When I let him go, I got a chance to kind of see what he was doing and just kind of picked apart what he was doing to be able to help myself for later in the race.
We have time for one more question before the team has to move on. We'll go to Jim Utter.
JimUtterMotorsport.com. Kyle mentioned the 78 coach. Before you went to Victory Lane, you stopped on pit road and had a few words with Martin. I just wonder if you could talk a little bit about what you talked about.
Yeah, I felt so bad about that. I wanted to, first of all, find out, and as soon as we found out, and everybody took pictures of it, you could see we had that one other time. It's a bolt on the inside that bolts the inside plate, and the head broke off, and when it did, it turned. And when it turned, it kept the tire from going on. I just felt so bad that, you know, for a teammate like that. And so I just stopped there with Martin and said, hey, Martin, I explained what happened. He goes, he was great. He said, I figured something like that happened. You know, because they were, be quite truthful, they were killing it all night. They were really fast.
All right, well, Adam, Kyle, and Coach, thanks so much for joining us this evening, and congratulations on the win.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Did you guys have anything for True Race?
No. I wish. I mean, straight up, race to race.